Hello, Christie Arkovich from Tampa, Florida, your student loan attorney. I would like for you to subscribe, first of all. Hopefully I'll mention it at the end of this video too. But what I'd like to talk about today is what we can expect for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. There has been a huge disconnect for a number of years. Back in, I think it was 2016 or so, we started to see a lot of clients who felt and were told by servicers, by their student loan servicers, that they were actually in the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, when in fact they weren't. They were nowhere close to it. They had the wrong loan type. What happened was they had the older federal family education loans, known as FFEL or FFELP loans, FFEL. And so they were federal loans, yes, but they were actually owned by a third party, and they were only guaranteed by the government through ECMC. So what that meant was the Congress, when they passed the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, they only made the relief for those that are doing public service to apply if you had the newer direct loans that were actually owned by the United States, by the Department of Ed. And so unfortunately, those were also direct loans. And so a lot of people didn't know that there was a distinction, that there were two types of federal loans. And we still see that today in people not knowing, why does the CARES Act apply to this subset of federal loans, but not this subset? Well, they did try to fix that recently in the Expansion Act, which I did talk about in another video, if you'd like to take a listen to that. But with the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, they want to fix that. And so one of the fixes, and the biggest fix, I think that would do the most good, is where we see that the Public Service Loan Program is simply applicable for those that have the older FFEL loans. There's a large number of folks, before 2010, when the FFEL program was discontinued completely in the middle of the year in July, 80% of those with federal loans had FFEL loans versus the direct loans. There was a lot of lobbying by student loan servicers to have FFEL loans. They were very profitable at the time. And so through the different presidencies, starting, I think it was with Clinton and Bush and Obama. And so finally, they were able to get rid of the older FFEL program that had a lot of middleman type of charges and just go with the direct loan program, which is basically the government is loaning you directly to the student. And so we expect for the fix to apply to FFEL loans. Hopefully that'll happen. We also hope that it will be retroactive, which means that not just going forward, but it will also go back in time. To give you an example, one of my very first clients that we saw that this was a problem, he worked for the National Weather Service for more than 10 years. And he had applied for public service loan forgiveness after 10 years, as he thought he was supposed to. And he had consolidated his loans as he thought he was supposed to. But unfortunately, he did a FFEL consolidation. He didn't know the distinction. He didn't realize that. His servicer didn't tell him that, okay? So he applied for the discharge. He filled out the 10-year application. It was denied. He first came to see me about that denial. And then we identified what the problem was and how his only solution at this date and time was to simply restart, to consolidate his loans to direct and restart the 10 years all over again. Well, who wants to do that? They're already 10 years done with public service, and now they have to restart. Now you've got your own kids in college. You've got a lot of other expenses that you didn't previously have. And you also might be making a higher wage, so your payments are higher. There's a whole litany of reasons as to why that doesn't make any sense, and that wasn't what Congress first intended. So we had filed some class actions against Navient, against Great Lakes, varying results of that. I won't get into the details of the litigation, but we tried to fix it that way. During that time, the Department of Ed changed their rules back and forth on preemption. It's been changed again. 2 weeks ago, they just announced that they would not preempt state law violations that they saw out there. If a student loan company misrepresents something to its borrower, they're going to be held accountable. And that's what the Department of Ed wants to see through some guidance that they passed about 2 weekends ago, where they no longer will say that the Higher Education Act preempts state consumer laws. That's what the law used to provide, but then it was changed coincidentally during our lawsuit, and now it's changed back. So that's been a whole thing. But in any event, we do hope that they're going to fix that problem, that they're going to apply it retroactively, and that anyone who has consolidated, that it would actually get credit for the 10 years of payments that they made on a FFEL loan. There is plenty of case law out there that talks about the consolidation does not end those rights. So that's what we expect as the biggest fix for public service, is to make sure that the program applies to those who are most in need, who have been, working at this usually lower paying job for over 10 years and haven't gotten the credit that they've been promised all along. And so we hope that the public service loan program will apply to those with FFEL loans through Congress. Whether it will require someone to do anything to get that relief, we don't know yet. So please hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned, stay in touch, make sure you watch and keep your eyes out. If there's something that you need to do, we will hopefully be able to tell you. You can always do a one-on-one consultation with us as well. We expect for that to pass hopefully sometime this winter. So thank you very much for your time, and hope you all have